So I'm going to give you 3 signs that you're an old soul. And there are way more signs than this, but if these resonate with you, let me know in the comments. Number 1, you are weird. And this is a good thing because it just means you're not like everybody else. You don't fit the mold of what the influences of your life and society told you that you should be. You have a mind of your own, which more times than not causes you to go against the grain of what's considered normal. You kind of just bounce to the beat of your own drum and you embrace it. Number 2, you have a discerning spirit. You can read people and situations on a very deep level. And you can see how relationships and situations are going to play out long before they actually do. You can read through the words that people tell you. While most people are listening to the words people say, you can see deeper and see a person's motives behind their actions and words. Which leads me to number 3. You've always been somewhat of a loner. While you love people and may know a lot of people, and a lot of people may know you, you often prefer to spend time away from the crowds, and instead you rather be in the company of your own self. Mainly because you value your peace more than anything, and you refuse to allow anybody to disturb it. So your cutoff game is super strong. Once you realize that a person or a situation is not in alignment with your path, you're done. And it ain't even personal. You just understand that everybody ain't for everybody. Also, because your alone time allows you to think for yourself and separate the influences of others from what is authentic to you. You don't have the hive mentality. And if this resonates with you, understand that the world needs more people like you. Weirdo.
I've never been the type of person to truly connect with people my age. I don't like the clubs. I don't like the partying. I don't like all that. Like, I did for a certain amount of time, but that didn't really last long. Like, I'm 21 years old. I don't club. I don't party. I don't do none of that. I just work.
Here's your answer, ladies. This is where all the good to great men are.
Focus on my business, read, get closer to God, listen to old music, finding old songs. Like, that's all old head stuff. But I find this so cool because you're generally not like anybody else your age.
Did you know that if you are ever referred to as an old soul, it could be because you were tasked with responsibilities at a young age that are typically reserved for adults, whether it be from taking care of another sibling to reading the body language of adults and your parents. Is it a bad thing? Not in most cases. You probably gained a strong sense of intuition from it. But in some cases, it could mean that you scale your self-worth based on how able you are to fulfill other people's wants and needs.
I would imagine that most old souls are very lonely people. And one of the reasons for that is immaturity doesn't recognize value in maturity. So let's say you're at a stage in your life where you no longer want to gossip about people, but all your peers are still very much into that. They're not going to recognize the fact that you don't gossip as being a virtuous trait. They're just going to think you're a boring person.
So you have an old soul. That's why you feel more mature than a lot of people that's around you. So you have an old soul. That's why a lot of times even the elders that's telling you things, you have a deeper perspective.
That is so true. The amount of conversations I've had with those elders and to see the enlightenment on their faces when I've said something profound that even in their age bracket they have not considered.
You're an old soul. You're an old soul because you got emotional stability. You seem to be in a calm place. You seem to have an understanding that this is an illusion. You're an old soul because you have empathy for others and feel like you came here of service. You're an old soul. You're to nurture this planet to the next level, old soul.
Be careful with people who don't mind being alone. Let me explain why. Firstly, they don't rely on anyone else to feel whole. That means they'll never cling to toxic people just to avoid loneliness. Their peace comes from within. So if you want to be their friend, you got to bring peace and happiness, twin, or their relationship will end quicker than it began. Secondly, you can't control them with fear of abandonment. They already master being by themselves, so manipulation and guilt won't work. The minute you act like or say you're going to leave, they will politely show you the door. 9 times out of 10, they already wanted you to leave. Thirdly, if they let you in, it's because they want you there, not because they need you there. Loners rarely hang around people, so if they got you around, they truly value your presence, which makes it even more meaningful. Fourthly, losses don't shake them like it do others. They don't rebuild themselves alone before, so no matter who leaves, they'll find their way back. Fifthly, their strength is built in silence. They endured struggles on their own and they grew stronger because of it, which makes them harder to break. Sixthly, their silence is their reset. Time alone gives them clarity, so when they come back stronger and sharper. Seventhly, they move with patience because they know being alone isn't a weakness, so they don't rush into situations that's not right. And eighthly, they embrace new beginnings. Alone time taught them how to grow, so starting over isn't scary, it's exciting. All my loners out there, continue to choose solitude over chaos, continue to be selective about situationships and relationships, and don't forget to go get you some sunlight, because loners will sit in the house all day like a vampire. They will even avoid the sun if the sun is disturbing their peace. I love y'all and may y'all continue to be peaceful.
Be careful with people who know how to be alone. Let me explain. They're the most dangerous ones because they don't need people around them. They don't tolerate no disrespect because they know being alone is better than being surrounded by fake love. They move different. When you know their only option for peace, you can't manipulate them with attention. They ain't scared to cut ties with people because they already build comfort in their own company. Can't guilt trip them with silence. They mastered silence. They don't chase, beg, or force nothing. If it flows, it flows. If it don't, they'll stand on business and walk away. They don't confuse loneliness with weakness. Time alone turned them solid. They're the most dangerous ones because they don't need nobody to validate their worth. They ain't never desperate. Every move they make is chosen, not begged for. They value quality over quantity. If you in their space, that's because they want you to be there. They mess with you for real. They built the foundation within themselves, so losing you don't bother them. It just reminds them who they is for real. When someone knows how to be alone, you can't play with their peace, their time, or their energy. They'll love you deeply, but never need you to survive. You will never meet nobody more independent than someone